Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Monday, and that means today, oh shit, we're still having computer issues. I thought I fixed all this. See how I'm still jittery? I thought I fixed all this, but we're gonna power through and figure it all out because today was Monday Night Raw. As far as today's Raw does go, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a really good episode of Monday Night Raw. I think maybe they're at the end of the show with Seth Rollins accelerated something due to a potential injury. And I know what everyone's going to say. Hey, Seth lied to us before about being injured. Seth lied to us before. Well, yeah, he did. So we have to take this with a grain of salt and just see how it plays out. I don't know what's going to come of this, but we'll see. We'll see if Seth's really hurt. We'll see if Seth's not really hurt. I don't know. But with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube. Help us out over there by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live. That way you know when we post new videos. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Trying to pull up the live stream on my phone to see if it's running better. And for some reason it won't. That is weird. Also, remember, if you are watching on YouTube, you can help us out with a super chat to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Give me 1 second, guys. Guys, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Trying to get things fixed here, and everything's just still running like crap, and I don't know why. Give me 1 second here. I'm messaging someone to see if they have a possible fix. Like, I'm not jittery or anything. I don't know. Hold on. We're gonna try something here. I'm gonna see if I can do like a reset without stopping the stream, if that makes any sense. Because I am eventually gonna upgrade my computer. I just gotta save the money to do the upgrade. Why is this not? Okay. We're gonna test this out, see how this goes, and whatnot. But with all of that, where was I? Go over to the Epic Game Store. You can help us out over there by hitting anything, really. Buying a new game, buying an old game, buying a used game. Not a used game, they don't have used games. They have free games. And whenever you do anything at checkout, use our code PW Unlimited. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled. I literally reset my entire computer from scratch, thinking that's going to help it, and it seems like it may not have helped it. So I don't know. We're going to power through with this live stream and see what the heck happens. As far as Raw does go, let's just get kicking off right with that. So we get a recap of Crown Jewel. We see CM Punk, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Rhea Ripley all arriving at the building. Michael Cole announces a sellout, 13,737. Now, as far as, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen. I think I have the image. As far as the 3-night, what's the word I'm looking for? Total attendance for the Perth shows. Like, how many people were there all 3 nights? SmackDown, Crown Jewel, and Raw. 40,503 were in attendance all 3 nights, which is really cool. Really cool. WWE killed it in Australia. And again, tonight, they had, like I said, 13,734 in the building. I want to say that's actually 50. I think what I read was that was 50 more than Crown Jewel. So maybe after Crown Jewel, they realized they can open up more seating and they open up 50 more seats. I don't know. But the Vision does kick off the show. Becky Lynch was not with Seth Rollins this week. I don't think. Yeah, no. She didn't do anything with Seth on screen. I was trying to think about it. I'm like, actually, wait. Is Becky even there? We didn't see Becky at all. We got an announcement that Becky's going to work next week in Sacramento. Yeah, no Becky at all on this show, actually. Anywho, the Vision entered. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman, of course. Crowd sang Seth's song, and it took about 10 minutes before anything happened. Rollins did his usual spiel, and the crowd sang along. The fans had been calling him a wanker for days, so he referred to the fans as wankers, and they cheered. Rollins put over Paul Heyman and called himself a blessed man for being in his presence. Rollins hugged him. Fans chanted, kiss, kiss, kiss. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? No. So Seth did kiss him on the forehead, though, and they cheered. Whatever. Rollins then put over Breaker before moving over to Bronson Reed. Reed got a big reaction from the home country crowd. The crowd sang his name. Rollins said, Reed destroyed and embarrassed Roman Reigns, so you are the new tribal chief. Rollins called himself the greatest world heavyweight champion of all time, and I'm like, is that true? You better than Ric Flair? You better than Triple H? Just saying, those are 2 of the best big gold world heavyweight champions of all time. So Rollins said that Reigns needed the Shield and the Bloodline. Cody needed him to beat Reigns. Rollins beat CM Punk and Reigns at WrestleMania all on his own, which technically he had help from Paul Heyman, so it wasn't on his own. He said he won the world title on his own, which is true. And he trounced Rhodes on his own, which again technically is true, even though he cheated. Rollins didn't need Breaker, Reed, or Heyman, but he chose them. And they have chosen him. They have all come together for a purpose. Rollins then ended with the usual line, and fireworks went off as he posed with the belt. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Also, if you guys are going to spam the chat, you're going to get timed out. Just saying. We're not playing that game. We're not playing the spam the chat, spam the chat, spam the chat. Look at me, look at me. You want me to read your stuff? Super chat, guy. Super chat. That's all I'm going to say. We do check the chat periodically, but if you want a specific comment or question read and I don't miss it, super chat. You can super chat for as low as like $1, $1.99, something like that. That's the perfect way to make sure I don't miss it with 40, 50 people in the live stream. So in the back, Rusev confronted Penta before his IC title match tonight. Rusev didn't like that Penta was getting an IC title shot ahead of him because, well, he screwed Rusev last time. He said that I talked to Adam Pearce, and Pearce said that, I got screwed. So I get the next shot at the title, whether it's you or Dom. And he's like, maybe I want it to be you because I don't forget. And I remember you kicked me last week. And Dom's in the background going, I'm going to go this way. I don't want to walk past Rusev, which is really funny. So the first match of the night was the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Dominic Mysterio defending against Penta. Let me turn the fan on. I thought the fan was on. It's getting a little warm in here. So we had the fans over here. Dirty, dirty Dom. Dirty, Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom. Penta went right after Dominic instead of doing his usual poses of no Seattle Miato at the start, right in his face or anything. And they went at it. These two had a really good match. They fought back and forth. It was kind of even before the break. Penta gave Dom a backdrop onto the announce table, and Dom went flying. After the break, Penta remained in full control. He had a springboard crossbody for a 2. Dom drove Penta into the ring post and followed with a suicide dive tornado DDT. Dom drove Penta into the barricade, and Penta almost landed in the front row onto some children. Dom then tried to take the win by countout, but Penta got back in the ring. At one point, Dom went for the 3 amigos, but Penta blocked it and hit one of his own instead. The crowd then lightly booed because they wanted Dom to do it. This crowd loved Dom. Dom then blocked the 3rd suplex and hit one of his own, and the fans chanted for Eddie. At one point, Rusev would march down to the ring after Penta dodged a 619 and hit it, and went for a Canadian Destroyer. Penta then wiped Rusev out with a dive on the outside, and this allowed Dom to cause a little bit of a distraction. He did a couple of things here. He grabbed the IC title, and he grabbed the ring bell hammer. I thought this was brilliant. This was a great spot. So Dom jumps in the ring. He's got the hammer, and he's like hiding it. And he throws the belt in there so the referee sees the belt. And the referee's like, Dom, what are you doing? You can't use the belt. No, get rid of this. So he takes the belt, goes to hand it back over to the Alicia Taylor, whoever at ringside. And Penta gets back in the ring after being, messing around with Rusev. And so Dom jumps back into the ring, but Penta jumps back into the ring. Dom hits him in the knee with the hammer, and he falls down for a 619. Well, then where it gets really clever, Dom stiffs the hammer down into his boot, right? He stiffs the hammer down into his boot. And he's got it just slightly exposed. When he hits that 619, he comes around, boom, that leg is the leg that catches Penta right in the face. He then pulls Penta to the corner, goes to the top rope, frog splash, pins him 1, 2, 3. I'm like, wow, I really like that spot. I thought that was a very clever spot there. Not only does he hide the belt or the hammer in the boot, but then by hiding it in the boot, he's using it in the boot at the same time with the 619. Loved it. Thought that was a great finish. Thought Dom as a heel killed it there. And yeah, these two had a really good match other than, the Rusev interference and Penta having to go dive at Rusev, and Rusev didn't even do anything. Rusev just walked it down, and Penta's like, oh, gotta take this guy out before he does something. Well, it screwed you, bud. It screwed you. Okay, I already warned this guy. He's getting timed out. So moving forward, Jackie Redmond interviewed LA Knight in the back. Redmond said that there would be a triple threat tonight to become #1 contender, and LA Knight's in the match along with CM Punk and Jey Uso. LA Knight's just talking, saying, hey, I'm going to win this match. I'm going to go out and win the title. I'm going to beat Seth Rollins. And so Punk would interrupt. He goes, LA Knight says, of course you're coming to interrupt me. God, he gets all frustrated and mad. They argue for a minute, and then Knight gets the last word. But I don't know. I guess Punk called him an idiot or something. Like he was to walk off and goes, you idiot. And Jackie Redmond's over here trying so hard not to break, so hard not to laugh. So Asuka then barges into, I guess, their private locker room where Kairi is. And she barges in, Kairi! And she's all pissed off. And Kairi jumps up. And she's like, Kairi, you lost the match at Crown Jewel. Now, you know what? She's like, I'm sorry, Asuka. I'm sorry. She's like, you're going to have to earn this back. Tonight, you're fighting Rhea Ripley. And Kairi goes, I am? And she goes, look what Rhea did to me. And she pulls her hair back. It's the big-ass bruise from when she got kicked in the face. And Asuka's just like, yeah, you're going to fight Rhea, and you're going to beat Rhea. And, like, she kept trying to, like, grab Asuka's arm, and Asuka's all getting pissed off, going, no. And she's like, yes, Asuka, I'll do it. She's, like, hesitant. And we saw Asuka a couple weeks ago slap Kairi, and that was like a good little tap. This time, Someone must have said lay it in, because Asuka slapped the shit out of her. Slapped the shit out of Kairi. Got a huge reaction from the crowd. Kairi sold it great. Like, oh my God. Holy crap. So then they showed UFC's Alexander Volkanovski in the crowd before Rhea Ripley would come out to face Kairi Sane. So it was weird. They made it seem like Kairi didn't know about this match with Rhea. She was told moments before, yet an hour before Raw, Adam Pearce announced like 3 things, and this was one of them. So yeah, I don't know. Esports Gaming Rules with the tier 1 subscription on Twitch. Really do appreciate that. Thanks, guy. Remember, guys, you can support the channel with a tier 1 or an Amazon Prime subscription. As long as you got Amazon Prime, you got Twitch Prime, and it all up, mix them together, conglomerate, and there you go. Esports Gaming Rules subscribing for 39 months. Really do appreciate that. Every little bit does help keep that light, and all those lights on. So Rhea versus Kairi. It's a fine TV match. There's nothing wrong with it, even though it was kind of like the finish, or not the finish, but like the post match. They're not done with any of this. This is still going on. So Asuka caused a distraction early on, so Rhea confronted her on the outside. Sky then attacked Asuka, so Sane wiped out Sky. Asuka laid out Sky as they went to a commercial break. When we came back from the break, the crowd was chanting, "Fuck her up, Rhea! Fuck her up, Rhea! Fuck her up, Rhea!" Which was actually getting censored, I guess you would say. I think they also said Asuka's a wanker. Asuka's a wanker. Asuka's a wanker. So Ripley came back with some clotheslines, a thrust kick, and a running boot for a 2. There was a good shot in the replay of Sky smiling as Ripley kicked Sane right in the face. Sane dodged a running charge, and Ripley ran right into the post. Sane followed this up with an insane elbow off the ropes to a standing Rhea to the outside. This looked like a great spot. Later on in the match, Asuka tried to cause another distraction, but Io would grab her and get rid of her. Sane then tried to roll up for a 2, but Ripley follows up the riptide, and pinned Io, or Kairi, pick up the victory. So, well, Rhea's not losing in Australia. There you go. Rhea wins. So after the match, though, Asuka attacks Kairi. No, Io. I'm getting all these names mixed up. My bad. I tried writing these while I was at work. Not, I'm not supposed to be doing this while I'm at work. Anyways. Ripley attacks Asuka. Ripley then set up Asuka for a riptide on the table, but Kairi would hit Ripley from behind with a kendo stick. Asuka gave Ripley a DDT on the table. They then posed over Rhea, holding her down with the kendo stick. And there we go. The Kabuki Warriors, yes, Kairi loses, but the Kabuki Warriors get the last laugh. Kathy Kelly then interviewed Rusev backstage. Rusev said Penta got what he deserved. Rusev then said he's coming for Dom's belt and nobody is going to stop him. Esports Gaming Rules with a bit donation. Really do appreciate that. He said, quote, "It was an interesting week leading to Crown Jewel Perth, re-signing to the WWE main roster and departures from WWE, NXT, Evolve, WWE ID stars, and Santos leaves and returned to WWE in a period of 24 hours. So yeah, the Santos Escobar stuff was very interesting. What I think happened was, from what everything has been reported, I think Santos was, like, his contract really did expire. Like, that's not a storyline of work or nothing. No, his contract really did expire, and people thought he was going to go to AEW. So I think what happened was they thought he was going to go to AEW, and so they said, "Oh, no, what do you want? What terms do you want to agree to? What? Okay, yes." And according to Brian Alvarez, he got a very, very good money deal with multiple perks. Like Alvarez said, he's making so much money. He wouldn't say the number, but he said, from what I heard, Santos Escobar on his new contract is making so much money that the company won't just sit him in the back. Like, they're going to have plans for him if they're paying him this much, which I don't know what that means, but I would assume that's like $750 to $1 million, if not more. Like $750 to $1 million, if not more. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as like some of the departures and stuff, like everyone's mad that they didn't re-up Kylie Rae's deal, but it's like, okay, she's pregnant. What do you want them to do? Keep paying her just because she got pregnant? No, they weren't gonna re-sign her deal. It's just like with Ridge Holland, where he announced today his deal's up on the 14th of November. Yes, he's out injured. So, okay, you could say it looks bad on the company. You let a guy go that's injured. But it's not like they're releasing him now from his contract. His contract's expiring. They're at least letting the contract roll through. But it's like, what do you want them to do? He got hurt. She's pregnant. You want WWE to keep paying them while they're not even able to work and then let them go after? No. It's one thing if, and then I get with the Ridge Holland stuff, he was hurt before they added injury time, whatever. It's one thing if like they're hurt and it's in the middle of their contract and you just let them go. You release them 90-day, 30-day, no compete. That's one thing. But it's another thing where it's like, oh, the contract expired. Hurt or not, we weren't going to re-sign this person. That's what you have to realize. Hurt or not, they were not going to re-sign Ridge Holland. And like, pregnant or not, they weren't going to keep Kylie Rae. From what I had heard is they had her sign, they put her as the first ID Women's Champion, and she did some Evolve stuff, and they felt like she didn't make an impact, I guess you would say. From the word going around is, again, they felt she didn't make an impact as part of the ID program and working wherever she did on Evolve. I haven't watched any Evolve. I've seen clips from Evolve, and that's about it. So I don't know how much Evolve she actually did. Another bit donation. He says, you see Def Rebel leave WWE with superstars changing to their old theme music. I don't know if Def Rebel leaves WWE. I assume eventually they get somebody new. But this has been a wrestler call. Wrestlers have been asking to use their old themes, and we're going to see more of this. Kyrie used her old theme today. We've seen others in the last week use their old themes again. So I think an exit of Def Rebel is more than likely, but it's like, I don't see it like, oh my God, this is going to lead to, I don't know. I really don't know. I have no info on that other than the wrestlers have been asking to change their themes. He also says, I watched New Japan King of Pro Wrestling from Ryogoku, and they are really hyping up Wrestle Kingdom 20. Even Aaron Wolf versus Evil. Don't even get me started on that. You're going to bring, you're going to bring Aaron Wolf in with all this hype, the Olympian and all this, and he's going to be great, and we think he's going to this and that and that. You're going to have him against Evil in a fucking House of Torture match? What? In a House of Torture match for his first match? Man, this is not a good call. Ghetto, what are you doing? I do not like this call at all. Putting him in a House of Torture match for his first match. Like, yeah, granted, they did the House of Torture thing today or last night, or whatever you want to say, yesterday, and he suplexed them all, and I don't know. But hey, shout out Konosuke Takeshita, new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Gotta like that one. Gotta like that one. And then I think he said, Goto, he's going to give him a shot at the title before Wrestle Kingdom. Well, I don't know what the Wrestle Kingdom title match is. Is it now? I've had some people not tell me or anything. I mean, like, I've had some people tweet. I've seen tweets. How would I say it like that? I've seen tweets of people saying it should be Takeshita versus Tanahashi. For Tanahashi's last match is a title match. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense for what Tanahashi said. Tanahashi said that his final opponent is going to come full circle with his career. So does that mean it's like a Nakamura? You know, they were the Three Musketeers with Shibata. Is it an Okada, his greatest rival, or one of? I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't think it's going to be Takeshita for the world title. But I am interested to see where they go with Wrestle Kingdom, because they're only a couple months away. With 2 months away? 3 months away. November, December, January. 3 months away. Moving forward with Raw, we had Bronson Reed versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy had told Jay earlier, and I think I missed recapping that segment. But basically, Jimmy told Jay, hey, you keep saying you can do it on your own. You don't need your help. I don't need your help either. Because I take care of Bronson Reed. Can you, guy? Can you? Jimmy's ribs were taped up after getting speared through the barricade on Saturday. He attacked Reed as soon as he entered the ring, but Reed immediately punched him in the ribs to take over. Reed had complete control through the early portions of this match, and Jimmy dodged the senton. Jimmy went to... I wrote this way weird. Jimmy went to hit a Samoan drop and it looked kind of weak. Instead, he hit an enziguri and a running hip attack for a 2. Jimmy then followed this up with what they called a whisper in the Uso. What? A whisper in the Uso. Not a whisper in the wind like Jeff Hardy does. It's the same move. They called it a whisper in the Uso. Anyways, Jimmy tried to go for a Samoan drop, but collapsed with Reed on his shoulders. Reed then landed on top of him. Reed followed this up with consecutive sentons and a tsunami to pick up the victory. So there we go. Bronson Reed beats Jimmy Uso. Ron Breakker then greeted Reed in the aisle before spearing Jimmy in the ring. Reed then held Jimmy as Breakker speared him again. Breakker was about to spear Jimmy through the barricade, but Jay would come out to make the save. Old brother Jay. Jay then managed to clear the ring, but ate a corner splash instead. So basically, they're telling you Jey Uso's going to that main event later a little bit, not 100%, a little bit hurt. So yeah, 7.5 minute match. It was fine. Everyone knew Bronson was winning. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley were in gorilla position, getting ready for their tag team match. Valkyria told Bayley that they were teaming tonight, but it's a one-time thing. I don't think I can team with you again. And Bayley's like, we're going to go out there and win. We're a great team. Remember, we won the gauntlet match before WrestleMania. And so it was Lyra and Bayley versus Raquel and Roxanne. Valkyria and Bayley worked well as a team early on and did a bunch of double team spots. It was one spot too many, though, because Bayley flung Valkyria into Rodriguez on the outside, but Rodriguez caught her and gave her a fall-away slam into Bayley. We'll get to that in a second. Valkyria then checked on Bayley. No, wait, I missed the spot. Perez fought Bayley off the top rope with the Hurricane Rana. Judgment Day then continued to dominate Bayley, and Perez hit her with a springboard moonsault for a 2. Valkyria then checked on Bayley and cleared the ring of the heels in the process. Valkyria then slapped Bayley because Bayley was kind of just not all there, fired her up. Bayley laughed maniacally, went crazy. Bayley wiped out Perez and Rodriguez with suicide dives on the outside. She slammed Rodriguez into the ring post and clotheslined her over the barricade. She then hit Perez with a flying elbow in the ring, followed up with the rose plant, and pinned her to pick up the victory. And commentary's like, well, looks like old Lyra's figured out how to work Bayley. You gotta just slap her around a little bit to get her going. So, yeah. Bayley and Lyra pick up the victory over Judgment Day. And like they said, Lyra's like, it's a one-time thing. We're only going to team this one time. I don't know. I can see it going more. Backstage, Seth Rollins told Paul Heyman that he could feel something special was coming. Something is on the horizon. Rollins was proud of the Bronze and told them that this was the most incredible weekend of his professional life. He said, the birth of my child, Mary, and my wife, and seeing how much the Bronze have grown in the past 6 months makes me so proud. He said, this is what the mountaintop is, boys. He told them, breathe it in. They were also on the verge, taking that next step. He said, no one could knock them off the top. Little did Seth know they were about to knock him off the top because he got them to the top. He brought them here. Now they're knocking you down. During a commercial break, Maxine Dupree was interviewed talking about beating Becky by countout last week and then said, hey, guess what, Kelly? Next week in my hometown of Sacramento, California, I get to fight Becky for the women's IC title. So there we go. One of 3 title matches taking place next week. Women's IC title, men's IC title, and the world tag titles are all going to be on the line. Speaking of that, AJ Styles was talking to Adam Pearce. Styles called Crown Jewel an incredible night, despite, getting beat. He called John Cena a legend, and Pearce thanked him for an incredible moment in that match. I don't know exactly what spot they were talking about there. Dom then interrupted and was like, hey, why am I defending my title next week against Rusev? Like, I'm the only champion here defending all the time. It's not fair. And AJ was like, not fair, huh? Okay. How about Dragon Lee and I get a tag title shot? You want other champions to defend their titles? How about us versus Finn and JD? And Dom just realized what happened because Pierce was like, I like that idea. And Dom's like, oh, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. So it's going to be AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against JD McDonough and Finn Balor next week for the World Tag Team Championships. All thanks to old Dom putting his foot in his mouth. So again, like I stated, 3 matches at this point. A 4th match does get announced later, but 3 matches at this point have been announced for next week's Raw. Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line with Becky Lynch defending against Maxine Dupree. The Men's Intercontinental Championship on the line with Dominic Mysterio defending against Rusev. And the World Tag Team titles on the line with Finn Balor and JD McDonough defending against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. So then we had a Stephanie Vicaire segment. She was interviewed by Jackie Redmond just about, hey, you won a crown jewel. You're the women's crown jewel champion. How does that feel? And she actually stated, and I didn't realize this or know this, she said, it feels great. I have actually made history. I am the first woman to win 4 different titles in a single year in WWE. And I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, well, if we're going to be honest, how many previous years could that have even been possible? Most years, there's only been 3 women's belts. What's now WWE women's title, what's now women's world title, and then the NXT title. But then adding the, North American women's title, adding the US women's title, adding the IC women's title, it gives those opportunities for that to happen now. But I don't see this happening often. Like, I've won almost every belt in the same year. But yeah, very, very interesting. Esports Gaming Rules says if it is Nakamura and Tanahashi was talking to WWE with the WWE Raigoku shows coming up, that might break the internet. If WWE agrees if New Japan and WWE agree to work together so Nakamura can face Tanahashi, people are going to lose their minds in good and bad ways. Because it's like, what does this mean for the New Japan AEW partnership? Is this going to hinder that? We know that before AEW and New Japan started working together, Nick Khan reached out to New Japan to work with them. Because when they were trying to retain Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, one thing that he told them was, hey, I leave, I can go do other things that I've never been able to do before, like go work New Japan, which he has in the past. But anyways, he wanted to go work New Japan. And Nick Khan literally reached out to New Japan and was like, hey, how can we make this happen? And Bryan himself has confirmed that Nick Khan, he's like, WWE actually reached out to New Japan to see if there's a possibility of me, while under contract with WWE, working with them. Ultimately, it didn't happen. He left the company, went to AEW, and then worked with New Japan that way. But still, crazy. We know that WWE has at least once in the last decade opened up those lines of communication. And we know back in the day they worked with New Japan, of course. I mean, when they did the whole Ultimo Dragons got every belt, one of the belts he had was the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. We know that Hogan has defended the WWF Championship in New Japan before, way, way back in the day. So it's like they've worked together before, not these regimes, but the two companies have history. Anyways, with Stephanie out there, out would come Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, and they were just like, "Oh, you wanna talk all high and mighty? It shouldn't have been you at WrestlePalooza fighting Io. I was the last one to beat Io before you, and I should have been the one challenging Io." And it was like, first off, Io wasn't the champion, so I don't understand why you're mad about that. And freaking Stephanie won a number one contenders battle royal to earn the shot, so it's like, but all this shit that Roxanne's talking makes no sense. But basically, Stephanie goes, "You want a shot at my title? You want to fight me? Prove it to me. Show me. Let me see what you got." Basically. And we do learn later that next week in a non-title match, it will be Stephanie versus Roxanne. As far as our main event goes, a triple threat match with the winner becoming the new number one contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. It was CM Punk, LA Knight and Jey Uso. So Punk got a huge reaction. The other two got pretty good reactions as well. Jey quickly cut off Punk with a super kick, but the crowd continued to chant for CM Punk here. Knight went after Punk on the outside, and Jey wiped him out with a dive. We went to a break about 90 seconds in. Knight and Jey then took out Punk again during the break before coming back into the ring. After the break, Punk knocked down both men with a dive off the top. Knight at one point avoided a GTS, gave Punk an inverted DDT, and gave Jey a regular DDT. Knight then hit both men with diving elbow drops, but they each kicked out of pinning attempts. We went to the break again, and just like in the opening match, the match had about 5 minutes worth of commercial breaks. A lot of breaks in this match. Good thing we're watching, well, at least I'm watching international Netflix. I don't have to worry about commercials. After this last commercial break, though, Jey gave Punk a super kick and followed it up with an Uso splash on Knight for a near fall. Knight then gave Punk a BFT, but Jey broke up the cover and shoved Knight into the steps. With Punk still down in the ring, Jey went for an Uso splash, but Punk got his knees up. Punk followed this up by giving Jey a GTS and pinning him to win the match and becoming the new #1 contender. The Punk is in the ring, he's celebrating, and well, the Vision come out. The Vision walk out. Braun Breaker all of a sudden breaks out, runs down, does the whole leaping spear into Jey Uso at the end of the ramp. He then sees LA Knight stirring on the other side of the ring, so he runs around, boom, hits him with a spear. He then gets in the ring, boom, hits CM Punk with a spear, lays him out. Bronson Reed then goes up top. They give him a big old tsunami to CM Punk. Rollins gets in the ring and he stands over Punk. He got the belt. You think the show is over. The Vision standing tall together. We get the whole thing at the bottom. It says, executive producers, Paul Triple H Levesque, Lee Fitting. We think the show is over. But then Braun Breaker kind of steps into the corner. Breaker then all of a sudden turns around and spears Seth Rollins. The crowd explodes. He then goes over and gets into Bronson Reed's face and says, "You have a choice to make. You're either with me or against me." He looks around for a second, grabs Seth, rolls him over to the corner, gets on the top, tsunami! Boom, takes out Seth. He then grabs Paul Heyman by the tie and pulls him in. "Paul, you're either with me or against me." And he's saying all this off mic. Paul Heyman's just like, "Oh, shit. What's going on?" And eventually Heyman grabs Bronson Reed's arm. He grabs Braun Breaker's arm, holds them all up as Braun Breaker had grabbed the world title from a laid out Seth Rollins. So he's got the world title in his hand. And it's like, wait, what? First off, this group's only been together for 6 months. They're breaking them up already? They're kicking Seth out already? Okay. But now you're saying you want to go for the title. But CM Punk is the new #1 contender. So what is what? Who's really next? Who's really next? Is it Punk? Is it Breaker? Who? Is it both in a triple threat? Or is Seth hurt? Are they going to say that the spear and tsunami injured Seth to the point where he's now got to vacate the title? And coming up on November, I think it's 1st in Salt Lake City, Saturday night's main event, CM Punk Braun Breaker for the vacant title. It's possible. Just saying. Throwing out a fantasy booking there. We don't know exactly what the injury is to Seth Rollins other than it might be the shoulder. Might be the shoulder. Because when he did that, it's this shoulder. No, left shoulder. Left. When he did that coast-to-coast headbutt, which, holy shit, he went to come down and he rotated right on the side. And so the fear is that they hope that it's an elbow or broken arm and not a dislocated shoulder. So we'll see. Seth's got to get evaluated. They probably won't know anything till late this week, if not Monday at the latest, because they got to come back from Australia. And Seth's got to get evaluated by the doctors, and they got to do all that. So hopefully by Friday, we can know what the heck's going on with Seth and if it's real or if it's not. Because the big question is, are they working us again? Are they working us again? Are they saying Seth's injured? Seth was walking around Perth in a sling. He was walking around Perth and backstage in a sling. So We'll see. Esports Gaming Rule says, can't believe the Bronze turned on Seth. Well, we knew it was eventually going to happen. I mean, Heyman's been teasing it for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Like, last week on Raw, Seth was like, what if I lose to Cody, Paul? And Paul's just like, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Because, like, Paul didn't want what would happen to happen. And then at Crown Jewel, he literally told Braun and Bronson, even if Seth gets on the ropes, looks to the back and says, I need you guys to come out here, we're not going out to help him. And then Braun says, well, what if Cody wins? And Heyman comes back in and goes, well, if Cody wins, I'm going to paraphrase this because I'm going to get this wrong. I know this is not exactly what he says. He's like, well, if that happens, we all know what's going to happen. Which is him basically saying, first time Seth fucks up, kicking him to the curb. You know what to do. And so the big question here is like, what is the move here? Because Rollins won. Rollins won at Crown Jewel. It's not like he lost and now they're kicking him out because he lost to Cody. He beat Cody. So it's like weird. That's why I think, and I was wrong on this last time when I said I think the injury's real. I think the injury's real this time for the fact of they're accelerating the breakup. Now, again, could we all get worked here? Sure. Could we think that, you know, he's not really hurt and they made it look like it and think this and they want us to think there's dissension going into War Games, whatever War Games is going to, I don't know. But this is an interesting one. And I'm skeptical because they've already screwed with us once about 3.5 months ago. But now we got to just remain skeptical, but optimistic that it can go either way. I guess that's being skeptical. But with all of that, I forgot to do the polls for YouTube and Twitch, but we do have the other polls, so let's go check those. You know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. As far as shows do go, give me 1 second here. For some reason, I am not on the right page. So as far as the threads poll does go, come on, not wanting to load. 90% liked the show, 10% thought it was just all right. Looking over at the Twitter X poll. Scroll down here because we posted more stuff since the polls went out. 89% liked the show, 6% didn't, and 4% thought it was just all right. And looking at the community poll, trying to get that to load. For some reason, it will not load. Come on. There we go. 87% liked the show, 8% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. So with that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Wednesday with our AEW Dynamite Watch Along /Spider-Man gameplay stream. So with that, have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.